Hello, welcome to Navigating the Shift. Annabelle and Sarah here, still smiling here on Inauguration Day. Watching the show and considering the possibilities. And I think the Trumpsters seem to be grasping at many different options as to what might be going on, and everybody else is celebrating. So there's still hints there. We're not grasping at straws. There are things there that are still clearly clues for us to follow, but I think it's just going to be a bit quiet for a bit. What do you reckon?
Well, when I sent you that thing about all the school teachers in California getting an email saying don't watch the inauguration and ignore any emergency broadcasts, and at first I thought, wow, cool, and then I thought, wait a minute, if they know about it, that means it's probably not going to happen. Right,
that it's fake, and you don't want kids to be looking at something that's actually fake. So we've got the whole space in front of the White House covered in flags because there's no people, and a very scant few in the background. Apparently, I didn't get to watch much of it. Didn't really care to watch a lot of it because I was working till midnight last night. So, and I think it started about 3:30 in the morning here. So. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. I was just picking up things afterwards.
If they got wind of the fact that we were talking about them using the emergency broadcast system, it's like, if they know about it, then it's probably not going to happen.
Yep, that happens, doesn't it? That likely does happen.
The day isn't over. And then I also remember that I was looking at astrology, and I said, it's going to be up and down until middle of March or something like that. And then we'll probably get some good news.
Yep.
So maybe what has to happen is that we have to have the whole thing of sometimes you can't tell them, you have to show them.
Yeah.
So, a few months of Biden's pregnancy and everything goes to shit.
I think so. I reckon that
it's already started, right? I mean, Iran has already said, okay, because of Trump, we're now developing uranium, and we will possibly come to talks if you apologize and give us, I think, $150 billion or something like that.
As a small token gesture.
Yes. And of course, China is like, I'm sanctioning all these people in the Biden administration, which means they can't come to China. So, or do business with China. Oh my God, how awful. But
meanwhile, all their troops are lined up in Canada, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
We have troops too. I've seen films of, along especially near Los Angeles, along the coast there, they're just being huge ship after ship after ship all along the coast down there. Although somebody else said that because you're approaching Chinese New Year and the Chinese all kind of rushing to try to get that over with so they're done, and then that this happens every year. So you can't.
It's only January though. It's only January.
People, I don't know. I think the bottom line is, like people were sending around tweets of film which appears to be from the motorcade, and all of the military people standing with their back to the motorcade, and it's like, they won't even look at him. I'm like, no, that's what they do. But I went because they're not guarding the people in the motorcade from the people out there. Wait, that's what they are doing. So they want to watch out there. Not that there were any people that I saw.
That's a very confusing little video, isn't it? Because there's they're not standing to attention.
But I did see. I went back and looked at the 2017 parade, and there were a line of police facing out, but the couple of military people I saw that were facing toward the motorcade were standing at attention, which they weren't this year. So
possibility there. Yeah. Something going on there. These are some of the things I noticed. You know how George.news suddenly came about in the last few days? Now, George magazine used to be JFK Jr.'s magazine before he died. And now suddenly we have a website called George.news. And then there's a YouTube channel that's set up. I didn't check to see when it's set up, but I bet it's fairly recent. They broadcast Trump's farewell from Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. And it was deliberately made really crappy quality. And you can see that the channel has like 85,000 subscribers, but only 59,000 views. So YouTube is still playing their shenanigans. But in that, leading up to that speech, the theme that was running in the background was the battle hymn of the Republic. Glory, glory, hallelujah. At the beginning and at the end after he finished speaking. And that reminded me of the little video that we had last week of them all watching the movements that were going on from the tent on the 6th of January. They had Laura Branigan playing Gloria, her song Gloria from the 1980s. So Gloria, glory, glory, hallelujah. That's not a coincidence. It is not. There's something clearly going on. And again, in the speech, he was very clear about how, we're moving to the new administration, and never said anything about Biden. And that he said, I will return in some form, which is a funny thing to say.
Really funny, right?
Yeah.
And another thing that was not a coincidence is that there were 17 flags behind him.
Not a coincidence. But still gold fringe on them, though, as well, which is maritime law.
Yeah.
So I don't quite get
I don't know.
There's been a lot of talk about the United States corporation being closed down because of the Banking Act. So I actually went on to the company's house website. The only one, I can't find anything to do with corporation. The only one I found is United States of America Limited, company number SC380798, if you want to go search it up. Registered office address is the White House in Montgomery Street, Edinburgh, which is Scotland.
Wow.
And company status is active. It was incorporated in June 2010. So I don't know if that's just like a big joke or what, but it's not. Everybody's talking about the corporation has been closed down, and I just can't find anything there about it, unless its name was changed to hide it, or I don't know. So you've got to be careful of the trap of everybody talking at once, going, oh my God, look, this is amazing, when not any of them has actually come up with any proof. So I've only just started looking, but I just don't know if that's the case yet. I can't confirm nor deny whether there is a corporation set up in the city of London.
Yeah, I certainly don't know. But evidently, what everybody says is the corporation was owned. Right. Not Edinburgh is not city of London. It's Scotland, though. Yeah. So that is a little weird.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's pretty weird. Also in the speech, he said rocket about 3 times. Did you notice that? At one point, he actually repeated it. So
he said sky. He also was talking about, I think, COVID, and he said the numbers are going to skyrocket down. And I was like,
yeah, what does that mean?
The other thing that I noticed was at the end, he said, thank you and farewell. So if farewell was broken into 2 words, it would be, do well, take care, have a, so instead of goodbye, so long. So I don't know. He did say goodbye at the one today. So,
and several times he said, be careful.
That's true. Well, I did notice that nobody was rioting in Washington, D.C., which
not
is
with those
good.
soldiers around. Good God.
No.
Who would do that?
Nobody would even go there, right? But no. Antifa did show up in Portland and smash up the Democratic building there just for the heck of it. So,
and yet, Antifa.com is now pointing directly to the White House website. Have you noticed?
Yeah, yeah.
And it used to point to the Biden campaign. Now it points to the White House.
And on the White House website, on the page that lists past presidents, at the very bottom is Biden.
Oh, really? You have to give me the link for that one. We'll put it on the bottom of this video.
I'll send it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think we're in for a couple of months of hell. That there's not enough people that understand yet what the alternative might have been had they got away with it. Even though it appears they've got away with it right now. So I think they need to kind of run that through somehow, hopefully without hurting Anybody?
Oh, one thing that I found very interesting is today the official astronomers decided that Pluto is really a planet again.
Oh, congratulations to Pluto.
Pluto, now keep in mind, the United States is currently in what's called a Pluto return, which means Pluto is in the same place it was in 1776. So the Pluto is the underworld, the shadow. I mean, it's the total theme of what's happening in this country. And the fact that they're suddenly like boosting Pluto on Inauguration Day, come on, that's not a coincidence either. I think it's hysterical. And the article I read said that we didn't realize how popular Pluto was, and people were so upset that we decided to change it back. But it's been since 2006. Oh, we didn't realize how popular it was, so we changed it back?
Oh, come on.
Logically, that doesn't make sense.
No.
So somebody else pointed out, and David Wilcock has talked, and a couple of people have talked about this too, the idea of the hero's journey. And that's what's really going on in this country and in the world. And there are, certain phases to the hero's journey. So phase 1 is called the ordinary world. We know what that is. 2, call of adventure. So our hero feels the call, but he resists the call in phase 3. He's not quite ready for it. Phase 4, he meets the mentor who helps him get ready for the call to adventure. 5 is called crossing the first threshold. 6, tests and extremes. Number 7, an approach to the innermost cave. That's where a lot of learning happens, a lot of waking up happens. And then number 8 is called the ordeal. So something challenging happens to the heroes who have gone through the awakening process and all that, and now they have an ordeal. And I think that's where we're at. We're going to have a few months of ordeal.
More time, more ordeal, yes.
More ordeal. Well, you've got to figure the other thing is that it isn't just us who need to experience the ordeal. We're talking about the whole planet.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people who are now going, yay, I'm so relieved. This has to become an ordeal for them as well.
It does.
So, and then, we move on through reward of seizing the sword. 10, the road back. That's a good one. 11, resurrection of the hero. So what happens is it has to look like the hero dies.
Right.
Like in the movie Sting, the 2 guys look like they're shot and dead and all that. So it looks like Trump has been killed, right? He's been defeated. He's down and out, right? So that sort of speaks like, well, maybe that's where we are. Are we in the ordeal, or are we at the point where it looks like he's dead, or does he have to look more dead in the future? I don't know. And then, of course, the final is return the hero and all that. So.
Though how much more he'll have to do, like he said, he's returning in a new form. This is the speculation, isn't it? It's because if the military are in control now, whether they're now the puppeteers that are playing this out, or whether they allow the naughty kids to keep doing their plan for a little bit longer. We're not quite sure as to when it gets turned. It will only get turned around when more people see it. Yeah.
So when I was waking up from my nap this afternoon, I usually when I'm sort of in that in-between zone, I you get more access to groovy stuff. So I was like, so how is this going to play out? And the instant response was, go in at night. It's like at 3 a.m. and arrest them in the White House.
What are they doing in the White House at 3 a.m.?
Oh, I'm talking about Biden. What's going to happen with Biden? Or go in. Was it 3 a.m. or did I make that up? I don't know. It was go in at night. Somehow we'll see. We'll see if this plays out. But that at some point there's a going in at night and arrest being made.
We'll see. Yeah.
And then if that's true, we may not know. We may never get the perp walk. Although I think something, like we said,
everyone has to find out somehow.
The world.
Yeah, you can't just say, "Oh, by the way, he's gone now," and people will go, "Well, that's like Osama bin Laden." Like, where? Who? Really? All you've given us?
He died of COVID.
Oh, Bin Laden with that terrible photoshopped photograph, that looked like it was all like mashed on the top, but you can see it's clearly another photograph they have taken the face from. So silly.
Yeah. So we've got a little bit more ordeal. And I think, part of the ordeal for me is trying to maintain a close relationship with people who are asleep. Right? Because
which is really hard.
Every conversation I have feels like I am being totally fake. It's hard to be close when you're feeling like you're just faking it all the time. So my personal dilemma.
It is tricky. And like I've kept mine as well on the social media and stuff. I don't want to end up with just, an echo chamber of people that agree with me. I like to have the others as well. And they put me in check if I post something that's not right. Yeah, they're very quick to tell me about it and will gloat. But just to keep those doors open, because before I was blocking, block, throw them out. Nope, I'm not putting up with your abuse. And then I had one who was quite close, who I tossed out, and then I got this message from, her higher self, I guess, saying, look, I am so sorry, but I need to do this for you so that you'll stand in your truth.
Wow.
This is me pushing you to stand in your truth. And I was like, oh, well, I'm still not letting you back in. But then sure enough, another friend started doing that. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just put up with it this time. I won't answer. I don't really want to answer. I'll just do, because Magenta Pixie had the best idea. I think we've already said this before. You put your posts up and then you leave it. They can argue for themselves, or they can all agree with each other. It doesn't really matter. You just put up a little piece of truth at a time if you can. Just leave it at that.
So you got kicked off Twitter, and our friend Catherine, who is so much like us, got kicked off Twitter, but I'm still on.
Oh, but you post pictures of your doggie and, everyday things as well.
Yeah, not just my doggie. I do like cute animals and beautiful scenes. And, the idea is, have a chuckle, be inspired by this amazing vista, appreciate beauty. I don't certainly, up until you and I both, up until a few years ago, we didn't give what's the phrase? We didn't. There you go. Let's go with 2 farts. We didn't give 2 farts about politics.
Yeah. Not interested at all. Not interested.
And that's true of a lot of people. There are a lot of people who have been on a spiritual path who are just going, wow, I'm all of a sudden doing politics.
Hey, one of the books I've been focusing on is going back to the Ringing Cedars series as well, and how strong the message is about everybody getting together and going, enough of this dirty planet. Let's clean up all the waterways. Let's plant more trees. Let's get everybody spread out and in their own piece of land. This is such a strong message right throughout the books. Let's teach our kids to use their intuition so they can tune into all knowledge, and, teach them to be responsible, to use technology as a tool. And so it's no longer the addiction, but it is, a tool when you need it. And the rest of the time you get back into nature, and that is where your glory comes in. There's that word coming back again. This is where your full potential is found. Yeah. I think that's really important.
In the book Initiation, Elizabeth H., for those of you who don't know, I just wanted to read you a paragraph that I just read because I picked it up again today.
Okay.
So what happens is this woman is remembering her past life where she was a priestess, and she meets Tahotep, who's a real guy in history. I've been reading up all about him. He wrote a book called The Discourse on Life or something like that. There was a lot of stuff. This is Old Kingdom, like 4,400 years ago. So we don't have anything directly written from him, but people have things, translations written in Middle Egyptian, Middle period language that they've pulled from. But at any rate, so she goes to meet this guy. So he's the older brother, and he's the head priest, but he's also the head architect and the head doctor, because he is in so much contact with spirit. He has the wisdom of all of this. His younger brother is the Pharaoh, who is the ruler of handling that part. And the character who goes to seek initiation is Pharaoh's daughter, princess. So when she sees him for the first time, she describes his eyes. She says, I see him for the first time close to, and his eyes overpower me. Oh, those eyes, dark blue, such a deep dark blue that they almost look black. They are so dark because they are bottomless and endless, deep as the vault of heaven itself. When one looks into eyes of the sons of men, one easily sees the bottom. So there are two races there at the time. The long-headed ones are the sons of God, and the regular humans are the sons of men. In their eyes, one sees their soul, their whole character. One sees individual eyes. Tahotep's eyes are completely different. These eyes have no bottom at all, and looking at them is like looking into the infinity of the sky on a starry night. In these eyes, there is nothing personal, nothing individual, only an endless depth where eternity is at home. The whole world, all creation lies within these eyes. I have recognized myself in these eyes, and from the very first moment felt absolute confidence, because I know these eyes know me and contain me within themselves. I know I am in him and he is in me and loves me as himself, because I am actually he, and he and I are in complete unity. He is love incarnate, and I feel this infinite love penetrating me, glowing within me. I just love that description.
It's stunning, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
It's true. There are certain people into whose eyes, when you look at them,
you look into a whole universe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then,
but that reflection back though is interesting too, because you get, if you haven't done your work and you are still hiding parts of yourself, that to look into a space like that is rather terrifying, because then you start to see yourself, and it's bits of yourself that you haven't actually addressed or accepted.
And the reverse or the opposite is true. When there's a person who sees into your depth and you haven't done your work, that's very threatening.
It is.
Oh, right. And I've known people who avoid my eyes and stuff like that, just because they have this feeling, she's going to find out what I do, what I'm really like.
Exactly. Yeah. Very interesting.
So I read that today and it moved me, and I just wanted to share it.
Thank you. Yeah. I think we'll end up with more people like that back on the planet, not necessarily the tall cone head kind of people.
The sons of God interbred with the sons of man to plant the seed for us to be able to evolve and grow back to that.
Like that,
So
we've all got in our DNA.
Yeah, right. We have it. It makes me think of my experience looking at the Christ seed and what that was about, and how they created it and implanted it, but it wouldn't have survived if Paul hadn't made it gentrified, or in my vision, it was put this hard shell around it, and it kept the seed protected in the special spot in our hearts. And what has to happen is we have to have this friction and fire, like pine trees. The seeds don't sprout unless the tree has been burnt. It's like that. And there are a lot of seeds like that have to go through a whole lot of friction before they'll sprout, because they have this thick coating. I had a lot of things go click, 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 click.
Yeah. And it even comes back to the journey you're talking about with the movies as well. Part of the pathway. It all connects together.
The ordeal. Let's rub off the casing of that seed.
I think we're going through that right now. But we can keep calm and as well, just watch as much as you can. Be really, really aware of everything that's going on, how people are reacting, what you see in every part of your life around you. I get the impression that we are rewarded for the observation of the experience. and that to watch without judgment, because if you start judging, then you'll miss things. So if you just sat there, like if you were watching a bank being robbed, if you went, oh my God, right, you'd miss like most of it that was going on. But if you just stood there and watched everything and what each person is doing and how they're reacting, and without getting any reaction within yourself, that's the best kind of observation you can do. And I think that's what we need to be doing right now.
Yeah. It's interesting, this whole process we're going through. It's a planetary one. Well, I think that's all I wanted to talk about today.
Yep, that's me done as well. Let's keep watching the movie. See ya.
Bye.